Okay, let's got it. All right. It's coming up here, and then I need to. Oh gosh, it catches my singing and everything. Oh, that's not good. Move this guy over here, and then we have you queued up over here, and I need to set up the screen sharing, and then I have to pick where I'm going to screen share. Where'd you go? There you go. Now we're going to go over to the desktop 2, and we're going to share our sound for our stereo high fidelity share. Okay.
There we go.
Change this to gallery so I can see you guys over here. All right. Welcome to the Q review of Score to Picture on the Composer Exchange. This week we are reviewing cues that I believe Scott and I did for the love of cinema or the beauty of cinema. It's a QTube cue, and it was an interesting challenge and quite fun to do. I posted mine up already on YouTube. Did you put yours out there yet?
No, I haven't. Have not yet.
If you put a hashtag in, it gets found, and sometimes they do giveaways of libraries and stuff like that and stuff. I haven't submitted to that. I think we might have missed the timeline, but I'm going to go take a look at some of those things.
Yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago, I think. Yeah.
YouTube's a cool group of folks. They create these cues, and then we make music to the cues and then review them here in the Composer Exchange. Special thanks to the folks at Slack for letting, and Piebox for letting us use their tools to collaborate, share information, and learn and grow. So today, with Carl and Scott, Chris, and we are joined, we're going to take a look at two cues. Right now, Scott's cue is up first. And anything you want to say to set this up? Are you going to add to the composer's excuse list?
No, but it's just I went in a schmaltzy direction. Thought that it would stretch my my writing a bit.
I'm going to grab that. I went in a schmaltzy direction because I thought it would stretch my writing a bit. I'm going to add that to the list because that's a good one. I do.
Okay.
We're going to get to 100 by the end of the year, I think. Anyways, let's take a listen. Tell me if you can't hear this.
There's something special about the cinema, a place where we can escape from the realities of the world and lose ourselves in the stories on the screen. It's a place of magic and wonder where we can be transported to faraway lands, witness incredible feats, and experience the full range of human emotion. Cinema has the power to move us, to make us feel something deep and true. It can inspire us to be better, to see the world in a different light, and to believe in the power of the human spirit. Whether you're a fan of action, romance, comedy, or drama, there's something for everyone in a good film. And the best part is that you can share it with others, laughing and crying together as the story unfolds before you. So next time you're feeling down or just need a break, remember that there's always a place for you at the cinema where you can find joy, connection, and a little bit of magic.
Wow, that's some really interesting ideas in there. I think what I want to do.
There's something special about the cinema, a place where we can escape from the realities of the world.
Now, what I noticed here is that there's like a pulsating in the strings that doesn't really feel comfortable. I mean, the compositionally it's interesting and it has a nice full sound to it, but there's like a pulsing going on. I don't know what
There's two string sections, one that has that more of an ostinato, and then one that isn't, and it's just straight strings. So yeah, I definitely I wanted to add some sort of interest, but I didn't really want to go through an awful lot of changes and things. So I thought an undercurrent.
So yeah, it wasn't like predominant enough. It just kind of felt like it was out of sync or out of phase kind of a thing, instead of I think you have an opportunity there if you're gonna go for that effect of pulling out a little bit more, a little bit something that's a little bit more specific, that is easier to grab onto when you come out of this into the eyeball, seeing you're capturing the emotion. I like that. But this little part building up to it, and I had some of the same challenges in different contexts, but it's like if it had more of a wavering kind of a, that the strings come, kind of a flowing, kind of like a water flow, that probably would have been able to help you get to that effect a little bit more. I think that's what you were trying to get to, is get that more, but that is going to come to kind of my overarching point with it, is I think you have an opportunity to do a lot more with dynamics, building up, and you used pauses in there, and they were effective for what I think you were going for, but I think you had a lot of opportunity throughout the piece to do more with dynamics
and lose ourselves in the stories on the screen. It's a place of magic and wonder where we can be transported to far.
Love the wind chimes. That's a sample, right? You have
yeah.
I have really crappy samples. I was like really excited when I finally got my chimes.
Yeah. This is everything here is sound paint. Yeah.
There it is. Yeah. So I finally got my chimes out of the box.
Oh, nice.
Recordable, which is kind of cool, but because I've wanting to use them in different places, and I just didn't have any good samples. So that's actually a pretty good sample, and that's pretty neat. And I like that this is definitely an accent point in here that's important.
Away lands, witness incredible feats, and experience the full range.
So, one of the things coming out of that, so you have three distinct things here, and this is what I ended up trying to go for, but three distinct things. You have this, well, you're going four, really. If you're coming from this underwater scene, and then something to change the texture here, and then something to change the texture here, and then you're into this thing, which this was the hardest one for me.
Yeah.
This section right here, because it's like, whoa, and then you're coming out of it into this like, ooh, like the wind blowing in her hair. It's a whole different. That was really kind of a challenge, and still keeping some kind of a theme going on here. But yeah, that I would have. It felt like it wanted to have a little bit more something. This is a key point, because this is more like your action thing, and something that made a distinction between them. That's what I was kind of looking for. From here, now I'm going to play it again, because we can go through it here, and I'll do the same thing for you, Carl, if you want to break it down.
Move us to make us feel something.
This is beautiful. This really connects nice with the emotion and what her deep thinking and that sort of thing. But coming from that, did you do a pause there?
No, I came right out, but I did do a drum thing underneath it. Probably more.
Cinema has the power to move us, to make us feel something deep and true. It can inspire us to be better, to see the world in a different light, and to believe in the power of the human spirit. whether you're a fan of action, romance, comedy, or drama. There's something for everyone in a good film. And the best part is that you can share it with others.
So I think you had an opportunity in here, and I took full advantage of this, trying to catch this. You've got this long section in here, and I mean, the pauses in that action, that's subjective of whether it worked or not, but it was an interesting way to approach it. I thought it was interesting. This was another spot I was trying to struggle with how to treat that. I tried to put in a weird chord sort of thing in the melody, and it sort of worked. It didn't accent it quite as much as I wanted in my version, but like from here, you've got this really long section here. And this has an opportunity to build up to them, because it took me a while to catch this. But if you see, there's like guys with shields going on. There's something meaty happening here, and then you're coming out into like happy-go-lucky. Okay, so I think you had something you could have done a little bit more in that transition from through here that could have built that up. And then let's play this from here.
Good film. And the best part is that you can share it with others, laughing and crying together as the story unfolds before you.
This is the part I thought you could have done a little bit more with like that watery, wavy dynamics. That dynamic, I mean, I think you really could have, if you really played that through there with the theme that you're working with, I think that would have really brought that to life a lot more. And then when you come out,
so next time you're
right here, I hear something high. I hear like something that comes in at a high. You're building up, and then you've got some kind of a high string or something in there that I did something different than that. But for what you've done, it's just calling to have some kind of a high string or a flute or oboe, something that's going to come down to that next level. And then I like the way you came out of this.
feeling down or just need a break. Remember that there's always a place for you at the cinema where you can find joy, connection, and a little bit of magic.
Now you used a pause there, and that's okay, but it felt in the style that you were portraying, it felt like it could have benefited from having something a little bit more, just a little bit more dynamic range in what you're doing. If you're going to, and sometimes it's really hard with the sample libraries to get that stop, that pop. Yeah. So if it's something that's a little bit more articulate with that, and then something that's like kind of cloudy out in space, let's say, that's like like your wind chimes, harp, something like that comes down through the magic from that, because you're building up, and then it's like, wow, magic, and then you're coming in with your theme underneath to support that. It's a really neat idea. I think you have an opportunity to play with some of the execution of that. I think in there, and like with you have some really beautiful melodies in your progression, and maybe you could double them with I think you were using strings, but double them. Or did you have some flute? You had some flutes.
I have a full woodwind section in there.
Yeah. So but some things that would kind of a solo instrument that stands out a little bit. I think you're using ensemble patches.
No, it's all single instruments. Oboe, cor anglais, flute, alto flute, bassoon, clarinets.
Maybe I'm just hear a little different mix. That's all.
It may be in the mix for sure. Yeah.
Or a different articulation for them.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah. I use it a couple places, but there's a lot of opportunity for like the little halftone trills,
Yeah.
like that in there. But yeah, I really like the idea. I really like the emotion that you pulled out in the ending there. So cool, man. Nice work. Carl,
Thanks.
what's your thoughts on here?
Well, yeah, I thought the full orchestra was really nice, and the woodwind sounded good to me. The thing about the strings, though, and I agree with Chris about dynamics, that they all seem to be mostly at the same level. So there was an opportunity there to vary the level, especially in the strings. It's like they were a bed, and they were kind of
Yeah,
constant, almost constant throughout.
Especially with
So,
that
yeah, I
style.
felt those could have moved around in dynamics too.
Yeah.
The whole
sorry.
thing to me had a kind of a minor tone, or a little bit of a melancholy feel. I thought there were some places, here and there where it seemed appropriate to the video to maybe sharpen a third from a flat third here and there, just to brighten it up.
Yeah, it was a little morose
It
at times.
really had a nice introspective flavor.
I think they've got third sharpeners over at Walmart. It's a new aisle.
Yeah, can't get permission for that.
Oh yeah, you got to get. Yeah. Well, if you'll make sure that Amazon delivers it on.
There you go.
There you go.
Use points.
Cool. Anything else on that?
That's the main bits for me. Do you have any? Do your libraries support any control of vibrato on your strings?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. I could have heard a little more vibrato here and there too.
Yeah, it's I really was going for like mostly an underscore approach.
Yes.
And so that's, I think, is where I may have taken that to a little bit of an extreme, and to keep it just really, in one, direction. But yeah, I think I could. It was hard because it feels thick to me. It doesn't feel open and vibrant, and it's a totally stretched out. All the voicings are over 3 octaves. So it should be more open than that, and I had difficulty trying to get it to be a bed at the same point, have it be a little bit more open. So I had difficulties with that.
I think one of the ways you could consider approaching that to get that effect would be to do a little bit more with kind of a question and answer.
Right.
And that's what it, kind of that'll pull out the dynamics. That'll create a little bit more counterpoint, and draw the listener into little different directions, and allow you to connect various colors as they associate with the action of what's going on. And one of the things that I've been working on, I did at the same time or just after I did this one, I did an entry in the one of the contests, and this was it was a synthesizer, it was a sci-fi thing, so it was all really synths. It wasn't really orchestration, which was kind of a fun challenge to go from doing this more kind of traditional orchestral kinds of things to doing something kind of a little bit more outside of the box, if you will. And one of the things I've been really trying to work on, as I've been seeing how people are winning contests and seeing how folks like Thomas Newman and others are connecting with the picture. It's like almost every beat has a different color that's connecting with an emotion. It's really, it's very subtle, but very powerful. And we talked about this, I think, in one of the last Q reviews, because I think Mike did a really good job of connecting with the picture with some very, interesting dynamics and so forth. But anyways, that's something you could consider to play with that. So yeah, when I first heard this piece, I was not thinking of kind of connecting like that. I thought about doing an underscore, or, something that was just more of one piece, like more like what you did. And I would have really been I'm disappointed that we didn't get a chance to hear Art's take on this, because I would have really liked to hear how Art would have interpreted this, because he probably would have done more of of connecting a whole score through. And that's something that my instincts are connecting more with the picture and try to connect more with the nuance. So I keep a theme, but it's not as predominant as being, here's a piece that kind of stands alone, like all by itself.
Yeah.
And then it happens to also go with this picture. So
Yeah, it was interesting. Yesterday they had another review for the QTube, where they had a bunch of working American film composers, and one of the comments that they were making was making that decision. Am I going to go for something that works, or am I going to work on more of an underscore? And it seemed like that was a consensus of a real challenge. Which direction were they going to go in? And I was heartened by that, because I did really struggle with making a decision on that.
like this other piece, the synth piece that I did, I was I thought, okay, it's an interesting, like, as a cue, right? Because it just has some nice colors to it and stuff like that. But it's more, it's on the edge of sound design, right? So there's a lot of textures and different colors. And I'm like, what I would need to do to make it kind of stand alone is each of the little sections were kind of compartmentalized, right? So there's a little motif at the end, there's a little motif here and there, different things. And some of the sounds are distinct. I'd have to find a way, kind of in a traditional, like when you write a song, I'm a retired songwriter, you have a hook and you have repetition that draws your listener in. And I was like, well, I'd have to bring those in, but if I brought those in, it distracts from what I'm trying to do as trying to connect with the picture and be unique for each of those sections.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing when I was talking about, like, the girl underwater, and then you have, you're going to space, and then you're going to the car, and you're going to the guy and the emotional guy, and then coming out of that into, her hair blowing, that's 5 in a row of something very, they're each unique, but, can you have, in a synth sense, you've got to have distinct sounds that are something, it's a different kind of approach, but I guess you can do the same thing by the coloring and the questioning and answering that you're using in your orchestration, in changing. So each one has its own distinct characteristic somehow. So I don't know, something to play with. All right, so here we go. Take a listen.
There's something special about the cinema, a place where we can escape from the realities.
Great, we got that going on again.
There's something special about the cinema, a place where we can escape from the realities of the world and lose ourselves in the stories on the screen. It's a place of magic and wonder, where we can be transported to faraway lands, witness incredible feats, and experience the full range of human emotion. Cinema has the power to move us, to make us feel something deep and true. It can inspire us to be better, to see the world in a different light, and to believe in the power of the human spirit. Whether you're a fan of action romance, comedy, or drama. There's something for everyone in a good film. And the best part is that you can share it with others, laughing and crying together as the story unfolds before you. So next time you're feeling down or just need a break, remember that there's always a place for you at the cinema where you can find joy, connection, and a little bit of magic.
Oh no. Ta-da. Did Scott freeze up? I think Scott froze up.
Oh, I did. And nice face too.
Yeah. Well, tell me how you really liked my cue there.
Yeah,
They're like, "Oh, this is
that's
shitty."
that's like a base face right there.
That's funny.
Yeah. I had that problem last week too, or last time we did this. I don't know what it is, you know.
Well, for that, I'm gonna let Carl go first.
There you go.
He might not pick on me so bad.
Yeah, okay. Well, maybe not. I didn't like the first 4 seconds, Chris.
The first 4 seconds, which were those.
Yeah. Just some odd sounds that
There's something special about the cinema,
right there.
a place
That
where
was
we
it,
can escape from the
where the Klieg light flashed. It's
That's
just-
their sound.
oh, that came with it. Okay.
Yeah, it was like zzz. I didn't like
Okay.
it either, but I'm
You're
not gonna,
excused.
fight with them over it.
Yeah, no, you're
It's like it's
excused.
kind of like zzz. I didn't really like it. Tried to cover it up.
There's something special.
That, you
Okay.
see, so I tried to cover it up a little bit on both sides because
Yeah. Okay.
it was like out of touch with everything else that was going on. But anyways,
Okay, so everywhere else, I thought there were a lot of nice ideas, but I would have taken the old music editor razor blade out and shifted a bunch of things around. There were things that I thought there were places that I thought would have worked better in other places, if you know what I mean. That sounded good. I liked the way the little descending line as she fell to the bottom of the pool. That was cool.
Okay.
Right there, that was a good one. And sci-fi, that was fine.
this one was tough to get something that worked coming out of
Yeah.
there.
And then you had a little percussion there and that worked.
I actually had a talking drum in there. It just
Okay.
added the right amount of chaos to
Yeah,
it, and then
Yeah.
like an organ sound descending, and then I think I played with some French horns on there
yeah.
into it.
Now here, can you play that one? Play this right here?
Cinema has the power to move us, to make us feel something deep and true. It can inspire us to be better, to see the world
Now there,
in a different light.
Right there, when the girl's
And to
looking in the
believe-
mirror,
Where's what?
where the girl is looking in the mirror,
Yep.
you did a kind of a little reverse symbol-y, cinematic-y thing. I didn't think that fit there particularly well because it's more of a reflective moment.
It's interesting. Yeah, I was trying. My wife had listened to an earlier version of it, and she said she wanted to see some kind of an accent there. And I was trying to think, well, how can I accent that? But I could have just pulled back. A
Yeah,
lot
with
there, right?
something different, not percussion.
Yeah, this is a rough spot in here because I wanted that tender moment, okay? But this is a different kind of reflection too. So you have 3 reflections in a row. You have,
Yeah.
well, where does it? You have or come on, you have
Girl on the train.
no, you have right here. You have the girl on the train, and then you have her, That's a different, that's like a different reflection.
In fact, and that one felt a little busy. I might have flipped that, put her sound where the girl in the mirror is, or with the train, because this seemed a little more reflective to me than active.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. So that, like in this section right here, I really wanted to pull back, but it was hard to get as empty as I wanted to because her voice was so full there, right? You know, it's such a there's a if I recall, so you're coming out of here.
Cinema has the power to move us.
She's got such a rich voice right there. It's hard to come back enough and without it like losing
Yeah, so you were up
momentum.
above with the kind of a beltry thing, yeah.
Yeah, so that was, but yeah, when I listened to this without the voiceover, I really wanted like almost nothing, just like a tinkling on the top right here. But you know, again, it's hard
Us, to make us feel something deep and true. It can inspire us to be better, to see the world.
So maybe instead of coming into a build over there, from here, just come down to like nothing. And then we're at from like right here, and then let that be gentle over to here, but then still, you know, do some kind of a build up to come into the action.
Yep. And now where you have that little comic moment,
Yeah, I didn't hit that one right.
I don't think you quite hit that one.
I was trying to do it melodically. I originally put in an augmented chord to make it kind of go, but I didn't accent it enough. It needed to, if I'm going to accent it, it needs to be accented. It just kind of felt awkward, but that I agree with that one on there. And then I was comfortable with how I got this one and that one. That felt good with it, you know, a little snare drum coming into a pop.
Yeah.
But then this, I think I could change the melody or add a different chord there, and it either like don't accent it at all, just flow past it. Go, yeah, some guy's naked with a inner tube. Yeah, that was funny. But
Right. And then from there, I'm trying to
from
remember.
there,
what that-
this one was building.
There's something for everyone in a good film. And the best part is that you can share it with others, laughing and crying together.
Yeah,
I struggle with that transition. I wanted to come down more there.
and I thought the eyeball part was good.
This from right here to getting into here, it was originally a lot bigger, and then it kind of came over the edge, so I kind of pulled it back a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's
But-
okay.
But all right.
Share it with others, laughing and crying together as the story unfolds before you. So next time you're feeling down or just need a break,
Okay, right here.
remember that there's
I think that needs to go a little bit darker there. It's a little bit too I'm all cheered up already.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, what it was sad, but I didn't want to make it too depressing sad. You know, there's a descending that's kind of when you're kind of coming down. That's what I was trying to go for with that. But then I put the little plucky
Now,
thing, you know.
I didn't hear that as being the most important in the mix.
So next time you're feeling down or just need a break, remember that there's always a place for you at the cinema where you can find joy, connection, and a little bit of magic.
Right. So where it goes, so it's a real subtle little spot there, but just shifting where you have the audience.
Mhm.
And down or just need a break, remember that there's always a
Right
place
here.
for you at
I
the
thought the
cinema.
sound right in there would go better with the girl. That sound right in there would go better with the girl.
Yeah, I'd take it sooner.
Mhm,
Yeah, that's true. You know,
mhm.
what, you know,
And then that little bit that seemed part of the brightened up section from before that was her could go here. So like I said, just a shift around in a couple places is what I heard.
that's interesting. Yeah, I could see that little plickety thing working in.
At the cinema, where you can find joy, connection,
I like the warmth.
See, that could be her right there. And then back to your brighter theme.
That's an interesting way to do it.
and a little bit of magic.
Yeah, transition in with the Beltry when you go to the audience. That's nice.
I would
This
doing
part
the
of-
Beltry with the magic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it works with the magic word.
Place for you at the cinema.
Anyways, cool. Scott's back. All right, Scott. What are your thoughts?
Confession here. I spent a little time with this yesterday. I went on Piebox and listened, and I went back over just that area that we were just in a number of times to figure out what it was. There was something that was really kind of the word I wanted to use was disjunct, but it's not as accurate as I would like. It just, there was something about the way that stretch coming into the audience.
Here, this part.
From before that in the audience, and then through that whole section, and
Like
no, after this, you know, from this after the eyeball, basically, yeah.
Good film.
And you go into
And the best part is that you can share it with others, laughing and crying together as the story unfolds before you. So next time you're feeling down or just need a break, remember that there's always a place for you at the cinema where you can find joy, connection, and a little bit of magic.
yeah, the pastoral section, you know, that maybe that choice was what I was having problems
right
with.
here.
Just all the way before that through this, you kind of used the same, you know, kind of almost Haydn in there, right? You came out of this really cinematic thing, and then you went into Haydn, and that
Story unfolds before you.
I mean that
yeah, the trumpet voluntary thing that's going on in there, yeah. That to me, I found that one really hard to understand, you know, and it felt like it might be a little bit distracting. But you know, that the rest of it I really enjoyed. I had it on the big speakers, and I had the really enjoyed the bottom end. Right after the 4 seconds, right after when the light comes on, you got the 60 cycle hum, and then you've got, you know, you put in a some form of sub hit in there that just rocked me. It was great. You know, I enjoyed that a lot. And you know, and the ending I liked very much. I thought that the bicycle coming into that whole thing just, you know, kind of meandered out of the bit, you know, the film very nicely. I thought that was really just graceful and nice, you know.
the harp has a way of just kind of selling itself.
Well, yeah, that's a very nice harp too. That sounds really good. That harp sounds real
Well,
good.
you know, it's interesting, you know, I keep thinking about you know, how to approach these different types of cues, right? And so this one, for example, I sketched it with the piano. I just played what felt like it might work with you know, playing the piano along with it. And just kind of went into different little, you know, I stayed in pretty much the same tonal center, but different motifs and different kinds of suspensions with chords. And then as I was going through, I kind of weeded out a couple chords. You know, I had in the comedy scene, I originally had like an augmented chord there. Well, the chord worked good, but then when I started playing around with orchestration, it sounded really shitty. So I, you know, played with it. There's some other things that, you know, I pull out with it. But, you know, like doing this back to back with the synthesizer one, I didn't do that one at all with chords. I just played like a single note,
Right.
and kind of went where it felt right with like a bass, not a bass, but the bottom end synthesizer sound with all of it, and went through it, and then kind of went through and tweaked it, tweaked the modulation, and went kind of through some different things like that. And then I added colors and textures and stuff like onto it. And other times, I'll find when I'm, certain types of things, I won't use a piano. I'll try to use a strings.
Yeah.
I think some of the we did this one, Oh Brother, I think it was, and that's what I used that string, kind of a group string pad patch as my, for writing my my scratch track or my sketch. And I think that has what we use for that that scratch track, I think, has a big influence on how the cues actually turn out.
How much of your scratch pad do you actually keep in the score? Do you find you're getting rid of all of it, or I find that a lot of it I just basically work into it, voice it out for other instruments, but somehow it doesn't. I don't ever really get rid of it, even though I'm calling it a sketch.
Yeah, sometimes, like in the beginning over here, let me pull this up over here. So when I came out of here, I had scratch track, and I think what I did in this little section, I actually found, I think it was here.
Something special about the cinema, a place where we can escape from the realities of the world and lose ourselves.
I from up in that little, from the little zap to the to this little 3/4 thing, I had something completely different in the scratch track. And when I was playing with the strings, I was messing with the fifth and the flat six, just kind of because it has a little bit more emotion. So I completely got rid of it.
Wow.
And other times, like the thing at the end was just my scratch track moved over to the harp. Is what I played, and I kind of hit it on that one.
Right. I love the chord progressions in that area. That the whole last 20 seconds of it, the chords that you're using, it was almost a more typical, almost a rock song chord progression that you're using, and it really,
it was just improvised. It was great. I turned it on and played.
I like that. That I liked.
There are sometimes when that works, where that intuition will connect with what you're with the emotion of what you're doing, and other times it doesn't. Like in the synth piece I did, it was like I wasn't trying to think of any kind of tonal structure at all. So it's like I would go from a C to an F sharp, and then down to an F, and then up to a B flat. I was like, there was no pat. It just felt like it needed to go someplace. It felt like, where the note was, or that it just felt like it needed to go there. It needed to not go in a more traditional kind of sense. And sometimes, that's the part that for me, I want to build that so that I can kind of sit down and play. Like, think of those. I watched this guy, or I listened to his music. He did a like playing piano to a silent film. Oh my God, is that a challenge?
Right. That was
holy cow.
The guys that used to do that, for a living, man.
Unbelievable. What a skill
back in the day,
is.
right? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But that's what I have. I have that disadvantage because I'm not a pianist. And I think there's an approach to film scoring that piano players get to experiment with that is totally wiped off of my palette.
I was thinking about this, Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, I just love D minor, man. He's like, that's his vibe is D minor.
It sure is. Yeah.
And I'm like, he said everything just kind of centers around that. Well, as a keyboard player, for me, everything centers around like C minor / E flat major kind of,
Right.
that's just feels natural with playing. And I'll use that kind of as a center tonal space to work from. That's one of the reasons why I really love what we're doing in our harmony chat, because it pulls me out of that, pulls me into like completely different
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
areas of harmony and tonality, which is fantastic. And then there's this whole chakras, which are different frequencies and stuff, and you can kind of get into that whole thing, which is
Sure.
pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
But I realized Hans Zimmer's a guitar player.
Absolutely. And
That's why.
A minor, D minor, E
Exactly.
minor, all because you have the advantage of open strings.
Yeah.
And it's how you use the open strings. So when I'm playing the open strings, having that happen, when I'm improvising to a score, that's what I'm using. I'm playing against those open strings. It's not about, traditional chord progressions and such, and I should really spend some time learning how to play piano, because
I'll take you to the challenge. I'll learn to play some things on the guitar, you
Ah.
some things on the piano. And like
Ah.
6 months from now, we're
Yeah.
gonna have like a dual off or something.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know.
There you go. I wouldn't know where to start.
Well, I'm there with you, brother.
Yeah.
I've tried learning guitar my whole life. I can make music on any instrument.
Right.
Guitar, okay, but I really tried learning guitar, and I tell you, it's about, I don't know, 10 years ago, my son took a guitar class, and I learned how to play A Lime in the Coconut with like, two chords.
Nice.
As far as I got. Now I sit and I try to do, my fingers hurt. That was
Yeah.
a nylon string guitar. It was way
Right.
different.
Right.
But
Well,
yeah,
I've never
can't do it.
played a metal string guitar, and I never learned chords because everything was classical music. So
Oh, you were learning the lines.
yeah,
Oh,
I learned how to play chord progressions as a bass player, not as a guitar player. So I could never sit down and read from the fake book on guitar. Could never do it.
wow.
Yeah, it was just a real twist in the way I was trained.
I'm trying to do that. Well, you can't see it from here, but so there's my try to read in there. Everyone, I try to get a little, it's right behind me. Yeah, I try to get, in my routine, which I'm just finally getting back to a routine now that I've gotten moved in and
Right.
transition stuff. And then now taxi's gonna screw up that routine because I'll be gone for a week, but I'll get on a routine. I promise myself. But I'm gonna try and get on, regular practice and regular kind of get through charts.
Right.
And then regular guitar playing. I
Right.
need to do that because I need to be able to play certain things. It's like I'm sitting there, today, and I'm noodling on the guitar. I'm like, wow, this is a pretty cool line. And I was gonna use it for our harmony chat session. We're doing this thing with pentatonics, and it's like, well, that'd be perfect for that. But then I'm like, no, this would be better for the African one that I'm doing. I'm studying African music right now, trying to put together a presentation for folks on rhythm and kind of a little bit of history thing, kind of like we did with the Schillinger thing. Which you're not participating?
No, I'm not. I haven't.
You should come to that. You should really.
I see it on the
really try.
calendar, and I haven't made the time for that, honestly.
I think you'd really get a lot out of it because it's great exercises, especially if you're going to start, playing and learning piano, because you'll kind of glue some cool concepts together.
Nice. Yeah.
Anyways, it's been fascinating to try and learn this instrument, and but God, it hurts.
Yeah,
Jesus,
it does.
they're
It
still
does.
hurting.
It does. Yeah. I switched to playing bass when I was in the Air Force, and I had gone in and as a bass trombone player, and I wound up playing congas and trombone in the rock band, and then they needed a bass player, and I said, "Oh, I'm going to do that." And I played on ulcers for a year. I mean, my fingers were just ulcerated. It was.
Bass I don't have a problem with. I have no problem with bass. I play that all the time, and I have a blast with it. My fingers never get in trouble.
Oh, it killed me.
Guitar, you're killing the, well, see, I'm talking metal strings.
Yeah, right.
So
I'm talking
that's the
telephone
diff-
wires.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Yeah.
and like, so one of the instruments that I really want to learn, it's think of a ukulele with metal strings. It's called a cavaquinho. In fact,
Oh, wow.
I got it. It's a Brazilian guitar.
Yeah.
Brazilian over here. But man, this is like, man, if I ever wanted to join the mob and like, be a hitman, these wires are perfect, man. But it's a beautiful instrument. I don't know if you can hear this.
Yeah.
Anyways, but it's tuned like an octave apart. So you can do some cool things with it. But oh my God, this is really, really, really hard on the fingers.
Right.
So I've got to try and build up those calluses, but I'm gonna try and spend at least, a couple of weeks, if not like maybe even a couple months every year in Brazil over the next 10 or 15 years. And I want to be able to learn all those rhythms and be able to play this thing in the little bands and stuff that they have. So it's
Very nice.
gotta get, but oh God, it hurts. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
well,
way far away from that.
yeah, and you would think that after decades it wouldn't hurt, but there are times when you cut your nail a little bit too tight in, and all of a sudden you're playing on pain. It's just it's part of the gig.
Well, I'm thinking I might get one. So I tried. I've got an acoustic that one of my former students or my kid's buddy left in my studio, and then I've got this one that I bought for $5, and then I've got an electric guitar. And I was, back in my studio, I was having a hard time with that electric guitar. It hurt my fingers, right? So I've been playing, the kid's guitar, because it's got a pretty low action and it's a big full body and everything. And I thought, I'll get a good sound and all that. And it's okay. But oh my God, that's really hard on the fingers. Yeah. Then I have this new guitar, and that one is it's a little high in the action. So I was like, I'm not going to really play it until I get that fixed. But I was playing that. Well, it's a little easier. Okay.
Yeah.
I went, okay, let me compare with the electric. And I compared with the electric, and now, wow, that's even easier on the fingers, and because it's a really low action.
Right.
Oh, okay. So now if I get one more guitar, that guitar is going to be an acoustic,
right?
That is a nylon string guitar.
Yeah,
and that will probably be a little bit easier. But I think that will be good for being able to play on, for learning songs and that sort of thing. But if I don't want to get out of the habit of trying to play on these things, because I need to build up those calluses.
Yeah, well, you'll build up the calluses on the nylon as well, but it's a little more forgiving, but going back and forth between the instruments, a real nylon string has such a different spacing. It's much wider.
Yeah.
And
like on the high notes. Yeah.
Right. And you never do this with your thumb. It's always down in here. Right. So you never play on the top because you really can't.
I can't reach that anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
I'm not trying to get fancy, dude. I'm just
yeah.
Well, Carl, you're a guitar player too, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
You had that beautiful guitar that you had in your behind you a few months ago. That was gorgeous. That guitar that you were displayed behind you. That was beautiful.
Did I tell you about my flamenco, Scott?
No, you did not. I don't think.
Yeah, there was a luthier in Australia who actually specialized and taught building of lutes and other ancient stringed instruments.
Beautiful.
And I bought a guitar from a guy that had a guitar shop in Australia and had talked this guy out of this guitar. He didn't really want to sell it, and he had it in his shop, and then his shop got robbed and he had to close or burnt down or something bad happened. But anyway, this guitar was left over, and I guess he was a little broke because he sold it to me. I bought it unheard, unseen,
Yeah, yeah,
all the way from Australia. It's a peg guitar,
yeah.
handmade by this guy Foster, and it's pretty nice.
That's great. Yeah. I
There's-
my guitar that my classical that I play now, I bought without ever hearing or playing it. It was it just turned 40 years old. It's
Yeah.
you know, it's a Japanese
Yeah.
very rare Japanese builder, and
Yeah, you told me about
oh,
it. I would
yeah,
like to have
it's-
one of those.
yeah, it's pretty sweet. Although talking about action, you know, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It moves, you
Really?
know.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. I'm
As,
gonna.
as guitar players, how can I fix that bridge action down here on that guitar over there? Because this is nice and straight.
Yeah.
That is a little bit bowed. And then the other one's straight, but that's not my name.
It's a real problem. It's a real problem.
Do I take it down from here? Do I bring this down?
You might be able to do that, but you know, you could really you
if
could
you're
take it
starting
from
with a straight, yeah, if you're starting with a straight neck,
Yeah,
you have to take it from
but
the
if the
bottom,
neck is
from
bowed, you got
underneath.
another problem.
the neck is nice and straight, but I don't know if you guys can see this, but. Ooh, where's the camera over here? So.
Yeah, I can see.
Oh, yeah.
The neck is straight and it doesn't look like it's, like it's got pressure or something, bent over here. It's just it's a little bit high. I thought that these screws were part of it, but no, that just unscrews the neck.
Yeah.
There's no adjustment in there. But I suppose
Well, if
Yeah,
the neck adjusts, if the neck comes off though,
then you can put a spacer in
then
here.
you
I
can put
suppose.
you can put some form, you can get those from was it Stewart, what's the name of the place, they sell guitar parts, and you can get the little
Oh, that's
spacers.
it. Well, I got a full wood shop over here too. I could just create a little,
Yeah.
get a little.
Well, these
piece
are
here.
very, very thin and all the way across flat, and just worth the $3 if you can get
Yeah.
permission.
That's true. Yeah, you get permission.
That's
So let's see this. What do we got? You got to get it in
So-
focus so we can see.
What I did with mine is this bone or plastic, I guess they are these days.
Yeah.
Piece here, you unwind your strings and you can pop that right out.
And then
And
file
you
it
can
down a
take some
little
very
bit.
fine sandpaper and sand down the other side.
the other side, the underside. You can
Yeah,
take
the
a piece of
underside.
sandpaper and lay it flat on a
Yeah,
surface.
because you want the arch. You want the arch.
Yeah, you don't want to ruin with that. You don't play with that.
Well, I could just take a belt sander right on top.
No, on the bottom,
I'm
underneath it.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh. Yeah, that's no, don't do that.
So you got to go slow because if you go too far, you get a buzz and then you got to start over
Right.
with a new piece.
And you got to be careful that you don't change the alignment from left to right, because that's actually shaped to get the spacing. It's a different spacing on the top and the bottom strings. But that I can't do that. Mine is way too low. The body of it cracked on either side, on the front and the back. And I had a luthier put in cleats, basically little tiny cleats that he made to hold everything and glued it up. But it's in the process of that, I think it shifted, and it's very sad because I have to play a lot harder than I would want to. But I can't afford a new one. This is the one I get.
Well,
Yeah.
I get to practice putting strings on and off. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So yeah, I gotta see if I can see how that, I think the spacer is the way to what I would try.
Try that, but you don't want it to go all the way to the front, towards the bridge side, because that'll get the camber this way. So
Yeah.
you actually want it to be on the
Back of it.
further, the back of it, to see if the screws will draw it in a little bit, Yeah.
Try that.
It's always fun.
Yeah, the thing that I'm concerned with is it's glued too. So if I break that glue, because I loosened the screws and I
It
could
does
like
nothing.
take them out and it didn't have anything, it didn't
Tap
affect
it.
it.
Tap it lightly.
So I'm like, yeah,
Tap it lightly, see if it'll loosen up a little bit. Yeah, it might be worth just taking it over to the guitar guy,
the guy that
getting him to do it. Yeah, why not? It's costs you $300 for your $5 guitar,
still cheaper than buying a new guitar.
Yeah, just about.
It sounds good though. I really love the tone of
Yeah.
it. It sounds really good. It seems to be pretty solid.
Yeah.
So it might be worth investing. I hope I don't have to spend that much for it.
No, you shouldn't do. I was really being facetious. Yeah.
All right, guys. Hey, let's wrap up our Q review. We've been kind of rattling on here. The Q-Tube, The Beauty of Cinema was what we reviewed, along with all of our other extraneous digression. And this was really an interesting exercise. I learned a lot from it. I see plenty of opportunity to grow, and that's what it's all about, which is pretty cool. And if you listen to this video and you get something, good out of it, great. Leave something in the comments if you want. This is part of the Composer Exchange. This is our Scored a Picture. And thank you for joining us. Thank you to Slack and Pibox for letting us use their tools to collaborate and communicate and get better and smarter and that sort of thing, and share with folks like you. So that's it. I'm going to wrap this up. We'll stop our sharing, and then we'll stop our live, and we'll see you next time on the